And last but not least, how are you reinforcing community, right? And what you do for the community. So what you do for the community, how you're involved in the community, and what you do with the community. Like, you know what I'm saying? How are you involved with the community? You know what I'm saying? So these are the points that I'm going to be touching on. I'm going to be touching on each individual one. So you can change these. These are interchangeable. You can add and interchange. These systems can be whatever they may be to you, right? But as long as it's your craft, right? It's your craft, and you have to make sure that you're crafting out your craft. Um, in order for it to be, you know what I'm saying, in order for your, you know what I'm saying, for it to run the exact way or function the exact way that you intended to function. Not only that, but it has to be able to change and it has to be able to adjust itself to any situation and anything that presents it. Just like on the basketball court, right? Which brings us to our first and number one point, right? Which is your field, whatever your technical field is, right? And you know what I'm saying? I'm using basketball for an example, right? So, for an example, on a basketball court, you develop your systems and you develop the way that you play the game your way, right? And you reinforce that system, right? But at the same time, the systems that you reinforce, your ball handling skills, your passing ability, your shooting ability, your ability to, you know what I'm saying, catch and shoot, come off of one dribble pull up, you know what I'm saying, and all the other moves that you add to your bag, right? You all of these different things, as well as how you function within the team and how your team plays together, right? This is would be your system. And then at the same time, the system alone is not the only thing that you're going to need. You're going to also need to be able to watch film and be able to watch film on other players and other teams and play to their weaknesses, right? Because when you get into a game, you don't play against another. You don't play another team to. I mean, you know, in your system, you play to their weaknesses, right? And that's how you win the game. All right. So it's the same way with all of our other crafts and all of our other systems, right? We develop these systems, you know what I'm saying, and we craft them out however we craft them out. But then on our day-to-day life, we have to be able to we have to play to the weaknesses of whatever we're confronted with. We have to have a certain, you know what I'm saying, whatever confronts us in our day-to-day life, we have to be able to adjust our systems in order to bring about the certain effect that we want to bring about. So this goes for dieting, right? Dieting, for instance, right? When you eating certain foods, like we all have food preferences that we eat, you know what I'm saying, on our day-to-day life. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like when I was growing up as a kid, I had to eat peanut butter toast all the time, right? PB&J, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how are we renovating the things, you know what I'm saying? How are we renovating our personal preference foods, right? And on my channel, all I do a lot of different I have food, you know what I'm saying? I do a lot of different videos where I'm innovating the foods that I eat, you know what I'm saying? To make sure that I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeding my body and I'm fueling myself with the same thing every time, right? My 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 diet is a craft in itself. I have complete control of what I'm putting in my body and what I'm making, right? I have complete control of that. And that's my craft, right? Because I have to watch and monitor what I'm putting in my body, right? So dieting is a craft of its own, right? So in my video, I mean, you can check out, you know, plenty of videos that I make, you know what I'm saying, with dieting and the foods that I eat and how I renovate those in order to, you know what I'm saying, make sure that I'm feeling myself the way that I feel myself and whatever, right? So, you know, and I also talk a lot about other things like, you know what I'm saying, not making sure uh you're not changing your systems to fit, you know what I'm saying, what people perceive as no as the norm or what you should be eating, but rather taking what people say or taking the information you get from what people describe as what you should be eating or how you should be eating and making it fit your systems, right? Making it fit your systems. All right. So that's what I've talked about that in other videos. But what I want to bring about in this point in dieting specifically is about how to reinforce your dieting systems, right? Say you don't have the ingredients you need, or say there's something that you have to do, right? And you know what I'm saying? It's about being able to, for example, reinforce and being able to expand on your dieting systems or your dieting craft, right? So in terms of dieting, um, say that you don't have all the ingredients you need, right? How are you going to improvise, right? This will go into reinforcing your dieting systems, right? How are you going to improvise with not having the ingredients you need in order to make the same foods that you need to make in order to bring about the same effect? You know what I'm saying? And it still be your preference, your food preference, and you're not eating something else, right? So this is one thing, and the other thing is um the other thing is well before I can yeah, the other thing is expanding on your food preference or your food systems, right? Or your dieting systems, right? Expanding on this. So this means like adding healthier ingredients like ginger, or adding healthier ingredients, you know what I'm saying? Like some healthier ingredients, superfoods into what you naturally eat, right? So I'm pretty sure I even made a video that where I had vegan biscuits. And what I did with the vegan biscuits was I added some ginger, some sort of like ginger pineapple tea to it, right? And I put it inside the biscuit, right? Because that's what I usually make, right? See, it's like doing things like that, right? That's something that I usually make, you know what I'm saying, all the time on a daily. It's, you know what I'm saying? But I added this superfood in it to make my diet work for me, right? So as I said before, right? It's not about making your systems. It's not about changing your systems to fit whatever, what I'm saying, they whatever is, what I'm saying, decided or prescribed to be like how you should be eating, but rather taking the truth and how you should be eating, or how what healthier eating is, and having it fit your systems, right? So now that we know, what I'm saying, now as you craft and you get in the kitchen and build, what I'm saying, you're dieting, and what I'm saying, what you eat, add in healthier ingredients in foods to not only beverages. Beverages is a big benefit that people, what I'm saying, maybe not even aware of, right? With beverages, what you can do is you can really add superfoods and other things to them in order to boost your productivity in a certain function, right? So say like there's something you got to do, you got to go to a certain meeting, or maybe even just go on the basketball court, right? You can create a beverage in order to enhance your mind and your brain in order for you to function better on the basketball court, right? Or maybe in a meeting, right? You have certain foods that you can make. Say you want to make say you can make biscuits, because me, that's one thing that I usually just make, right? Biscuits and bakery. I don't know how I got into that stuff, but it ended up happening. But anyway, you have this instead of going to the meeting. What I could do is, instead of just eating the biscuits, I can add blueberry, organic blueberry to it. I can add banana to it. I can add nuts to it, and I can add other brain fueling brain. I can add other brain foods that's gonna help me. That's gonna help boost my brain productivity when I go to the meeting, right? So it's little things like this that you can add to renovate yourself, renovate your system to be most effective, right? So this is dieting, right? And we're gonna make more videos on this and go deeper into this subject in other videos as well. So the next thing that we have is next on the list, dieting, is going to be your mental training, right? What are the mental trainings that you are doing in order to prepare yourself for the technical field that you get into, right? So I don't even know if most people are really at this, what I'm saying, hit this point yet, but being able to do things like playing pool or playing chess, or playing things like this. This would honestly, I think I've made videos in the past where I've described that certain mental trainings that you can do can be that um, you can do in your wax off period, right? So waxing, so when you wax off from physically working out, waxing on from you can wax on mental training in order to keep a balance where you're still being productive. You're resting your body. You know what I'm saying? You're resting from other things. know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you're still training your mind, right? And chess is a really good way to train yourself. Playing pool is a really good way. Playing golf was a really good way, and doing other things like that, right? All these things are good ways to train. Like I know I made other videos in the past where I said Michael Jordan himself, right? Michael Jordan trained. He spent as much time on the golf course as he did on the basketball court or in the weight room training, right? He was training his mind. You see, so I don't know if many people on this point, but with mental training, right? A lot of this stuff is visualization too. Um, with mental training, the important thing about mental training, or you know what I'm saying, or doing, or just doing this a part of your day, is building yourself or training yourself mentally, or mentally preparing yourself for the technical function or technical field that you get into, right? Mentally preparing yourself for it in some sort of way, shape, or form, right? And if not that, the mental training will be beneficial to you because it's training your mind, right? It's training your mind in some sort of way, which will benefit you in, if not one field or one function, all functions, right? And what I mean by this, to clear this up, is that mental training it develops you. Okay, so you're developing your mind, right? So, for instance, if I was to go on the basketball, take time away from the basketball court or the technical field that I get into, right? And say I mentally train myself, and some other way, right? I'm mentally training myself some other way, right? When I get back to the function or the field that I'm doing, my mind is is still is has become sharper, right? I might not, you know what I'm saying? My mind has become sharper for the technical field that I get into, right? So there is training yourself in the technical function, but there's also training your mind, just period, almost like building muscle, right? And this could be very huge too. This could be very huge too. So that is, I mean, that's mental training. You can switch that point with, you know what I'm saying, other points. But the next point I have is waxing off. Um, Waxing off, right? So, we touched on this a little bit, but you're waxing off from what you're doing, right? Your ability to wax off from what you're doing and having rest periods. All right. So see the important thing about rest periods is that when you have rest periods, you become more effective. Now, this is something that you can choose to add into your daily routine, or you know what I'm saying, if you have them. If you don't have rest periods, I mean, you know what I'm saying, if it's not something that if it's not something that you consider to be most effective for you, don't add them. But you know what I'm saying, if it's something that you you know what I'm saying, if it's something that you might haven't considered, and if it's something that you work really hard, or you just work consistently, and you see your productivity start to fall off, consider taking. I would recommend considering taking rest periods. And when we get into talking about rest periods, it's what are we doing within rest periods, and it's also what times are we taking rest periods, um, right? So um, these two things are important, in terms of rest periods, and it's a matter of what we're doing within our rest periods, making sure you know what I'm saying, what type of productivity, uh, what are we doing within these rest periods that is productive to which, you know what I'm saying, what is the intention, or what is the effect of what we do, uh, or what is the results of these rest periods, right? Like what we do within these rest periods, right? So, say for instance, I take a rest period and I throw on the game, right? And I start watching the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the benefits of it? Not just physical benefits, you know what I'm saying, or like, you know what I'm saying, not just obvious benefits, but what are other benefits that it's doing to my mood? How is it improving my mood, and how is it preparing me for the next function? Right? You know what I'm saying? So little things like that, you know what I'm saying, is what you consider there. But the next subject, other than wax off, we can make other videos on that. But the next subject after wax off is relationships, right? The relationships that I create, or that you create, right? So with your relationships, you know what I'm saying, who is it that is most important to you, and who is it that is closest to you, right? And you know what I'm saying, how when was the last time you talked to them, and how often do you talk to them, right? And what how do they make you feel, right? And how can you benefit them? How do you make them feel, right? And relationships like this, right? And there's different relationships that saying go into different categories, right? I mean, when you get into, for example, community, right? The relationships you build within the community, right? The people that you know what I'm saying, what the type of things that you guys do together. You know what I'm saying, what do you guys do together, right? You know what I'm saying? You may play ball together, right? You know what I'm saying? You may go to church together. You know what I'm saying? In ministry, and so I have communion together, right? You know what I'm saying? So like relationships like this, right? Other relationships and businesses, of course, right? Business relationships, and of course, personal relationships, right? So um yeah, so pretty much this is relationships, um and yeah, it's just a matter of understanding uh how people make you feel, you know what I'm saying, and monitoring. It's just a matter of monitoring this and sorting, you know what I'm saying, how much energy you give, you know what I'm saying, and also environmental, right? How long do you stay in certain environments, or how long do you stay around certain energies, right? And pretty much, just little things like that, right? So, and the last point I wanted to talk about was community, right, and charity. What is your effect on community? What is your effect on charity, other people? And say, how can your systems, and saying, what are you doing? Like, how can your systems, I guess, um, fall in line or fall in sync, or more so, be a part of community, right? How can your systems, how can, you just being a part of community, right? And there, right? Reinforcing that, just being a part of community, right? In any way that, you see fit, or any way that, ends up happening, right? How it ends up flowing. But anyway, that's gonna conclude this video right here. Hopefully, y'all learned a little bit about um, being able to reinforce your systems. I mean, we're gonna talk about this more in other videos, but the main thing and the main important thing out of this whole video is being able to not only reinforce your systems, just like on the basketball court, not only being able to reinforce your game, but also being able to play chess and being able to watch film and restructure, or uh, restructure or maneuver your game to fit any type of situation or scenario that presents you in your day-to-day life. So on that note, I'm going to conclude this video. Hopefully this can help you guys out, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace. We out.